I'll never forget the sound of handcuffs snapping shut behind my back, the way it echoed off the cruiser and across the street, and the hush that fell over everyone when they realized it wasn't just some random guy being arrested, it was the mayor in a suit, pressed up against a cop car, red and blue lights, painting his face for the whole city to see. And that was me, standing there, Julian Mitchell, just another black man with his wrists behind him, wondering how fast things can spin out of control in America. You know what I mean? People stopped in their tracks, phones out, disbelief hanging in the air thick as fog. And all I could think was, here we go again, another episode, another reason to prove why we needed all those reforms I'd fought for. And right then, Officer Simmons was tightening the cuffs like he wanted to make a point, his knuckles white, his jaw set, saying things like, "You people always think you're above the law." And all I could do was square my shoulders and ask, steady as I could, "Sir, why am I being detained?" Not that I really expected an answer, but because it mattered to say it out loud, for the record, for everyone watching. It started like these things always do, with something as simple as being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Audi dead a couple blocks back, hazard lights blinking like a warning, and me, late for a meeting with the governor about an infrastructure deal that could actually help the East Side for once, hustling down Cedar Avenue in a suit, briefcase in hand, City Hall in my sights. When I saw the cruiser slow and Simmons' eyes narrow as he sized me up, black guy, nice suit, walking fast in a neighborhood he thought I didn't belong in. He rolled down his window, called out to stop, and I knew the routine. How could I not? So I did, polite but cautious, asking what the problem was, and he went straight to the script. ID now, like there was something inherently suspicious about a city ID, like my suit and my briefcase were disguises, not credentials. I guess you never really get used to the way suspicion works in this country. It's never about what you're actually doing. It's about who they think you are, or more to the point, who they think you can't possibly be. Simmons' hand hovered by his holster as he barked orders, crowding me up against the wall. And even though I tried to stay calm, to let the training I'd made mandatory for our officers kick in de-escalation, deep breaths, no sudden moves, there's a limit to how much dignity you can maintain when someone's patting you down in public, your wedding ring and Rolex pressed painfully into your skin as the cuffs close tighter and tighter, and he's rifling through your pockets, making cracks about how you can afford all this. And I could see it building, the crowd growing, a woman in a postal uniform edging closer with her phone out, and I told her, keep recording, but stay back because you learn real quick that witnesses mean everything. Simmons found my letter opener, called it a concealed weapon, stacked up charges like he was ordering at a drive-thru, obstruction, disorderly conduct, carrying a concealed weapon. I stayed silent, face pressed to the hood, the sting of humiliation burning through me, every muscle tense, every word measured because one wrong move could make it all go sideways. I remember thinking, let the system do what it was built to do, capture all of this, force the truth out into the open. Then there was Rodriguez, the new partner, rookie enough to still care about rules, sharp enough to see this wasn't right. While Simmons was posturing, Rodriguez loosened my cuffs just a notch and whispered, "Sir, something's not right here." And in that moment, I realized I had a choice: blow my cover, and it quick, or ride this out and make it matter. So I used the phone call Simmons reluctantly gave me, one call, make it quick, and told my chief of staff, in code, to pull Protocol 7. Full legal alert, notify the chief, prep the press, and don't let the governor leave. Simmons still didn't get it. Even when he saw the city, I'd called it fake, made a show for the crowd, still convinced this was his collar. But the scene changed fast, the radio crackling, dispatch telling both units to hold position because the chief was en route. You could see Simmons' confidence crack for the first time, the way his hand froze on the door handle. Rodriguez positioned himself between us, crowd growing, phones everywhere, whispers about what was really happening, and live streams popping up. Mayor in handcuffs, trending before the chief's car, even screeched to a halt. And when Chief Williams stepped out in full uniform, taking it all in the crowd, the mayor in cuffs, the two officers in standoff, it was like the city itself stopped breathing. Simmons tried to play it cool, rattled off a list of bogus charges, waved my wallet like it was exhibit, a thumb covering the golden seal that would have ended it all right there. And Williams just listened, stone-faced, letting him dig his own grave. When the chief finally spoke, Asked him if he knew who he had in handcuffs. I watched the color drain from Simmons' face, realization hitting like a punch to the gut. Williams removed the cuffs himself, handled them like evidence, and offered the kind of apology that wasn't just about me, but about everything that moment represented a system on display, for better or worse. I addressed the crowd, then the press, and later the whole city. I told them what happened, not as a victim, but as someone determined to make this the last time anyone had to watch an official or any citizen go through what I did. The investigation was swift and public. The body cam footage was damning Simmons, muting audio, moving me away from cameras, texting colleagues about taking someone down a notch. Old complaints surfaced, a pattern of profiling in Mapleton County swept under the rug. Rodriguez's testimony broke the blue wall. Other officers came forward, stories stacking up until there was nowhere left for Simmons or his defenders to hide. When the hearing came, Simmons tried to apologize, but not for what mattered, was sorry for the embarrassment, not the actions. The board tore through his statements, showed the texts, the complaints, the clear pattern, and when pressed, he finally admitted he stopped me because he didn't look like he belonged there. "Would you have stopped me if I were white?" I asked, and he had no answer. They fired him, referred him for civil rights violations, and we opened every case he'd touched. But the story didn't end there. We overhauled the department bias training, community oversight with real teeth, random audits, incentives for officers to actually live in the neighborhoods they patrol. Complaints dropped, trust went up, and for the first time, people saw police as partners, not predators. Even officers who resisted the changes started to see the value of them. Sergeant Lewis told the crowd at the new training center how it made his job safer, more meaningful. The Mitchell Protocol spread across the country, cities calling for guidance, Congress asking for testimony. We proved that reform doesn't mean hating the police, it means holding everyone to the same standard. And a year later, Simmons came to see Minute in uniform, not asking for his job back, but to apologize for real, admitting he'd spent his life seeing threats where there weren't any, working with a therapist, now helping other officers understand their own blind spots. It wasn't forgiveness I gave him, but I acknowledged the work. Real change is messy, slow, full of setbacks, but starts with seeing the problem and refusing to look away. I keep the handkerchief I carried that day, framed on my office wall, not as a trophy, but as a reminder. True power isn't in avoiding accountability. It's in making sure everyone answers to it, no matter who they are. Now, when I walk down that street, people nod, officers wave, kids look on with curiosity instead of fear, and I know we're not there yet, but we're moving forward together. So, let me ask you, was justice served? Did the system work? Or did we just get lucky this time? Tell me what you think in the comments. Share your story, your view on what real accountability means in your community. Because change doesn't happen unless we all take part in the conversation. That's what keeps us honest. That's what keeps us moving.